his inner circle was authorizing this. Dr. Jill comes to mind, does she not? You know Dr. Jill, who is out there enabling him every step of the way, wanted him to keep running, along with one Hunter Biden. You know, it was so obvious. I played you the clip earlier of him not being able to handle the incoming of the reporters' questions. He used to do that a lot. He'd zone out. You saw the clip, right? I've played it for you before of the Italian prime minister having to guide him away from the parachuters because they're about to take a picture at G7, and all of a sudden, he's like a little kid. He starts wandering off to look at the parachuters, and she brings him back, and he tries to put on his sunglasses, and he's moving so darn slow, and the whole thing is obvious, right? Everything is so obvious. But as much as we would play these clips, and I would tell you that here on the show, and I tried to warn the Democrats, you probably shouldn't be running him, they wouldn't listen. And instead, we were told these were nothing but cheap fakes. We were cheap fakes for running them, and that somehow we were the ones wrong. I mean, like, this is gaslighting on steroids. And then, of course, America saw this.
I've changed the law. What's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't even the worst of it, right?
Happening. They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right.
Oh, it cut off at the best time. Remember his line was, "Oh, he's right. He sure beat Medicare. He beat it to death." I mean, this was unbelievable, right? And yet, there were people, believe it or not, the next morning on Morning Joe that were trying to make excuses, like one Douglas Brinkley, who's the go-to Democrat presidential historian, who actually had the audacity to say this.
If you read the transcripts of Trump and Biden, you'll see a coherency to what Biden was trying to get across.
Okay. Oh, yeah. If I just read the transcripts, I'll be able to read through the lines and figure that one out. I mean, I don't even know as the people that were transcribing it could figure it out, because some of the words were just like mumble jumble. I mean, he was giving Kamala a run for her money on the word salad, for goodness sakes. And yet, you want to talk about enablers? I mean, this was like Lady Macbeth style. You had Jill Biden. I'm just sorry. You know what? I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. If one of my loved ones, if my husband had anything going on like that, do you think I'd be propping him up, saying, "Hey, buddy, go, 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 go"? No, I'd say let's exit stage left. In their case, stage left. And let's ride out into the sunset and let's enjoy our time together and our grandchildren and try and have a nice life. But not Jill Biden. Right after that debate, she got up there, and of course he was toast. So she had to get the crowd going with this.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lied! Yes.
Okay. So now the question becomes, what role did Jill Biden have in all of this enabling? Was she the Autopen? Was she the one getting stuff done? Was it her chief of staff that was running the show? Meanwhile, what was she doing to her poor hubby? This is something that came up. Take a look at this. I want to share with you one of my former colleagues actually over at Fox, a guy named Leo Terrell, who's now I think at DOJ, and he tweeted this out. So he's a member of the administration, and they're looking at this. Elder abuse, criminal charges. In other words, she most likely knew about his health problems. She knew something. I mean, she had to have known something. Again, we don't know the timing on the prostate cancer. We don't know, as you heard from Donald Trump earlier, I mean, it's kind of a shame either way. It's a shame because clearly he should have had better medical care. He's the president of the United States. Thank you very much. So that calls into question just exactly what was going on with his doctor. But if his doctor did know and they were hiding it, then that becomes a problem. And on top of it, you got to say, what was she doing? You know, putting him out there. It was like Weekend at Bernie's, right? Like it was hard to watch at times, really, really hard to watch. So they're going to launch an investigation. The Autopen signatures may be declared null and void. There is certainly a legal argument to be made for that. Meanwhile, people that were pushing him are also going to be investigated for what they were doing. In other words, this thing is going to blow up in a big way. And you know what? You heard it here first because nobody's talking about this just yet. And I have a feeling it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know because Donald Trump is a dog with a bone and it's the right thing to do, right? You don't prop up somebody with a frickin' Autopen and decide, okay, we're going to put all this stuff into law and we're going to pardon all these people. That is not the way the U.S. government works. The American people elect the president of the United States, and the president is responsible, per the Constitution, for actually governing. And you can't have somebody else with him not knowing what's going on. I mean, that's when you have to invoke the 25th Amendment. If you're choosing not to, we got problems, folks. This is huge. Absolutely, positively huge. Okay, you know what else is huge? What's going on the immigration front. And our friend Tom Homan, reminder, subscribe, share, like. We're growing big time here. I think we're coming up on 800,000. We're going to have a party when that happens, right?